I want the world to know, 'cause it is time to go. Haha. Hey, good afternoon. It is me, Tiffany. This is Just Keeping It Real with Tiff. I am coming to you live on Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. By the way, yes, I am outside. If y'all can hear me, please do like a thumbs up. And the title is called Time to Come Forth. Time to stop hiding. Time to come out of the cave. From the cave to breakthrough. So, hey, Ashley, how are you? Okay, before I get started, I'm going to drink some tea. So do me a favor, as you are coming on, please share this. You never know where people are at, so please share. By the way, these are interactive videos, so like, comment, and share on these. Comment away. Okay, I'm going to be bringing my notes to you today. And from the cave to breakthrough and victory. So, what are we hiding from? What kinds of things are we running from? I wrote down some things, so you have to, I'm looking at my notes. Are you ready? First off, before I get started, how is your day going? I know it's Monday. I know some people have to work and some people don't. The schools are closed and stuff. I didn't realize that today was a holiday until my kids are like, Mom, we don't have school tomorrow. I'm like, holla. Okay, so, what is the cave? From the cave to breakthrough. Are you ready? Let's get started. What kinds of things are we hiding from? Yes. What tough situations, circumstances, addictions, people, feelings, things we're going through, pain from our past, our faults, our issues, our junk. What are we afraid of? What is keeping us in hiding? Okay. Are we afraid the real, authentic us will be revealed? Are we afraid of the hurts of who we are? Okay, so there's a thing called a cave, right? We all know what caves are, and if we don't, well, I'm going to break that down. So the actual meaning of a cave is like something that you walk into, and some are easy to come out of, and the others are not so easy. Some you want to go in and look around in, right? And others you just maybe want to run and hide. Maybe you're getting away from something or someone, right? Maybe you're running for your life. Or maybe you've died and you're stuck. Maybe you go into a cave to find treasure and you find something else. Like we see caves in movies. Some are where people can't get out and others where people can. Some caves are like they have waterfalls, they have rocks, I'm going to invite some folk. I know that a lot of people I did not set this up because I honestly did not even know when I was going to be, coming on today, but I'm going to invite some people, so bear with me here. So that's what the meaning of caves are. It is something that you go into to hide in or run, or you hide in, right? But in the cave that I'm talking about, it could be the things that I mentioned. It could be hurt. It could be divorce. It could be marriage. The caves that we are hiding in and from could be people. It could be our past. It could be the things that haunt us. It could be unforgiveness. It could be addictions, the cave that we are hiding in. It could be the words that people have spoken over us and to us. It could be the things that have happened to us that we have no control over. It could be our situations. It could be our, like I said, circumstances. It could be a report from the doctor. It could be our finances. It could be our state of mind. It could be our, health. It could be anything that we are having a tough time moving away from. There are two people that I want to talk about today who, in the instance of a cave, these two people, they have similarities, different things, but these two people that were in a cave, I'm going to go inside. Woohoo! Woohoo! So it'd be like cold and windy out here, y'all. I'm going to go inside. I'm going to go in my usual spot. So bear with me here. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Oops. Okay. Pretty soon we'll have a bigger space, I promise. Okay. Pretty soon. All right, so there are two people that we may or may not know of that we hear about in the Bible. Hey, Mario, how's it going? And these two people have similarities about a cave, right? There is one person who ran for his life. He hid due to, as I was informed, the king swallowed haterade instead of Gatorade and hated this particular person. And so when this particular person found that out, and he was running for his life, he ran and hid in a cave. One felt sorry for himself, and one realized that this was not the way to go anymore, right? Then you have the other guy who was in a cave, but his difference is he was dead, okay? He died, and he was put in a cave due to illness, right? So they wrapped him up in these clothes, and he was, dead. And he, didn't feel sorry for himself because he, thank you, Mario, because he couldn't, because he had passed away due to being sick, but he was still in a cave. He was still there, bound by the clothes that they wrap you in when you die, back in those days. He was no longer on earth, but yet he was still in the cave. And you know, after a while, the other guy, the first guy that I talked to you about, the guy that ran, that hid for his life, that was hiding from his circumstances, because, I mean, hello, who wants to be killed, right? Who wants to be harmed? So what's the first thing you do? You fly, you run, right? Because that's what we do. That's what our mind says, like, I better get the heck out of Dodge, or this person is going to continue throwing spears at my head, literally speaking, right? So this guy goes into a cave, he's hiding, and he's like still fearful for his life, but yet he's been called as a king. He's been called to lead people. He's been called to help lead people out of their tough times, and he was a king anointed by God to do all this stuff, but he left everything so that he could go hide because he was fearful of his life, for his life. But then guess what? All of a sudden, we see in the book of Psalms, right, where he's like fearful and he's, having a little pity party, right? But then, so he has his pity party for a while, because that's what happens. When you get stuck into your cave, and I'm going to break that down what cave is. I kind of gave you some examples, but he had a pity party for a really, really long time. And that's what happens to us when we start when things start going not according to our plan. We get diagnoses from doctors, our addictions are staring at us in the face. Our past is our marriage or divorce or, parenting. Every issue that we face, that is a cave. Finances, job, you name it, that is a cave, okay? And anything that keeps us stuck and bound that we want to stay in instead of go outside of, that is our cave. And some of us get stuck in our cave having a pity party where we won't want to leave. But God is calling us out. And a lot of us will go to our cave. Matthew, please stop. A lot of us will go to our cave, right? And we'll get so comfortable and we'll stay there and we will have a pity party instead of doing the one thing that got this other person out of their cave. I'm going to tell you what that is. If you want to know, put a thumbs up in the comments. Okay. Maybe you didn't hear me, but it's okay. Give me a thumbs up emoji anyway. I'm going to tell you what that is. He praised his way out of the cave. But listen to this. The guy that ran into the cave to hide because he was afraid of his life, for his life, he knew that he could not stay there anymore. He started praising God. He started giving God praise that was due him so that he could get out of his circumstances, so that he was no longer ruled by his past. Hey guys, thank you. So that he was no longer ruled by the things that kept him stuck. Fear is also a cave, by the way. Too many people are stuck in the world of fear, a cave, and they won't allow themselves to walk in boldness and authority that we have been given, and they allow fear to overrule every area of their life. These are people that it's hard for them to see past things because they're comfortable in fear. That's a cave. Okay? But guess what happens? So the guy that ran into the cave that was fearful for his life realized that the battle was God's, not his. After we have yes, welcome to my house. It's very fun and eventful. After he hid in his cave for so long, he realized that having a pity party was only going to keep him stuck in his cave, right? It wasn't going to free him. It wasn't going to help him step into the calling that God had called him into. It wasn't going to help him free people. It wasn't going to help him lead people. Instead, it was going to keep him comfortable. But Matthew, turn that down, please. Thank you. But instead, he realized that he was not supposed to stay in the cave or hide any longer. How many of you have realized that you are no longer supposed to be stuck in your cave anymore? Okay? How many? Because today is your day of freedom. I'm giving you a key and I'm giving you a tool. Okay, we see that both people were stuck in a cave due to two different yet obvious reasons. Okay? Both stayed. And one could have stayed all the days of his life, but he chose not to stay there. He chose to praise his way out. There's a saying that says, complain and remain, praise and be raised. That is, okay, I need you to please not do that. That is a saying I heard when I was 16, and it's stuck with me ever since. So, praise and be raised, complain and remain. Okay. But he chose not to stay there. He chose to praise his way out. He knew God had not called him to stay in hiding away from people. Hiding and running away, that's what he was doing. He chose to no longer. He knew that God was calling him out to lead people, to no longer stay stuck. God also called the other guy, the guy who was dead due to illness, the guy that was also wrapped in these clothes that had him bound, right? God also called him out from death and to be loosed from the garments that held him bound. God is doing the same for us, by the way. The things that hold us bound, the fear, the anxiety, the shame, the guilt, the disgust, the whatever we're carrying around with us, the abuse, our past, our circumstances, reports we get from the doctor, the things, our finances, our job situation. Can you please take that to your room? Matthew, excuse me, but that's rude. Don't argue, please. And it is loud. Thank you. So God is, he is calling us out. Okay, I need you to please take that. I just needed to fix it. Please take that to your room right now. I'm doing a video. I'm almost done. Please be patient. Thank you. Okay, so, sorry about that. Yes, he also called Lazarus. He's the guy he said, Lazarus, come forth. So he called him out from death, and I said, to be loosed from the garments that held him bound. So God is doing the same for us, for you, for me. He's doing the same for everyone. He's no respecter of persons, and he wants us all to be free from the things that keep us bound. God, he is calling us out of hiding, out of the cave, out of our junk, out of our past and into the new. Come forth, he is saying. Come forth. Time to get out. You can stay there and be ruled by your circumstances and whatever else you're carrying, but it's time to come forth. And he is asking us to praise our way up to the east side. You know that song? Moving on up to the east side, to the deluxe apartments in the sky. Oh, moving on. Okay. So up and away into the new. He has loosened us from the stuff that's kept us stuck. Maybe divorce, abuse, unforgiveness, defeat, and shame is keeping us stuck. Maybe it's fear, or maybe it's our thoughts that is keeping us stuck. But it is time to let go and no longer be bound by the things we choose to hang on to. I'm going to say that again. It is time to let go and no longer be bound by the things we choose to hang on to. It's time to come forth. It's time to come out of the cave. You coming? So, it's really all I have for you today. This is just keeping it real with Tiff. It's time to come forth out of the cave, out of your mess, out of your junk, out of the stuff, out of the mire, out of the... God's word says that he takes our feet out of the miry clay and he sets them on the rock. That's what his word says. I believe it's in Psalm 40. It says that we are new creations in him. So you can run, but you can't hide. You know what I'm saying? You may try to hide, but really it's how is that working out for you? And it's really not going to do you any good to hide, because guess what? Someone's waiting for you to get free of your junk so that they can be free. It's no accident that you're watching this video. It's no accident that, I went through periods of hiding. I did. I went through periods of a long period of unforgiveness and shame. Carried that around for a really long time. I also went through periods of focusing on my circumstances and defeat. And yes, I was abused, but I let that become who I was, and I was ruled by my thoughts, and that was my cave. Now I can say that I chose to let that stuff go. I chose to forgive, and I still choose to forgive to this day. I have become a professional forgiver, and I have chosen to no longer carry the things that kept me stuck. So I am encouraging you to take the keys and tools I'm giving you to no longer stay stuck. And we don't need to stay stuck. That is a choice that people do choose. It's time to come forth. In the part where Jesus calls Lazarus forth out of the tomb, he points to, or if you will, he points to Lazarus and says, "Loose him." He's talking to the garments of death that were wrapped around him. He says, "Loose him. Lazarus, come forth." So he wants us loosened from our stuff, our junk, our past. I have this word that's been stirring up in me for a really long time, and it's really strong. And I feel like it's go time, and it's just time to share this message so much more than I ever have before, because, man, I know what it's like to walk in freedom, and I know what it's like to be bound by caves of stuff that was very destructive, that was eating away at my life. But when God calls us out of our cave, he doesn't want us to stay there. I mean, if you choose to run and go hide, that's up to you. But you also have to get to a place whether or not you're going to sit there and stay. You can have a little party to get yourself back in the game, if you will. But don't stay there. Don't stay in the pit. Don't stay in the valley. Don't stay in the cave. Peek out and say, you know what? I can do this. I'm going to emerge. I'm bursting forth. And it's when you do that, you have to praise your way out. Praise your way out. That's how Paul and Silas did when they were in prison at midnight. They started praising God. I think it was before, but at midnight something amazing happened. The chains fell off of them. They were loosened. They were set free. They even led the prison guard to Christ. Because the guy's like, oh my gosh, he was going to kill himself. And he's like, oh my gosh, these people are all gone. I should just kill myself. And they're like, no, wait, have you heard about Jesus? I'm just paraphrasing. And so they were let go. They were freed. They were freed up. They were walking in freedom. So wherever you find yourself today, just know it's time to break out of the cave. It's time to move on up to the east side. It's time to walk in freedom. It's time to be loosed and come forth. I'm talking to you. Today is your day of freedom and victory. No longer will you sit in a season of failures and disgust and shame and anything else and unforgiveness. Anything that's keeping you stuck in your cave, it's time to let that go and come forth. Be loosed in Jesus' name. So please share this. You never know where people are at. Don't forget these are interactive, so comment. And I'll come at you soon with a new video. Doing my best to limit my time on social media, but when I have a word, gotta get on here. Amen. Okay. Love you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.